A lot of guys will get so sore that they can barely walk for a day or two, okay? So what do you do? Hi, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I'm answering a question posted in the comments below one of our YouTube videos asking about how to recover from muscle soreness after resistance training. Now this applies mainly, I would say, to beginners and maybe intermediates, because muscle soreness is caused by, actually straining real hard against a heavy weight. Simple as that. And for people who've been lifting for a while, your body has just become accustomed to it, and you can strain really hard and not create a lot of muscle fiber damage, which means not a lot of muscle soreness. Matter of fact, kind of in the industry, we refer to it as delayed onset muscle soreness, otherwise called DOMS. What happens is it's kind of like spraining your ankles. So when you're pushing or straining really hard against a weight, you're actually creating little microscopic damage to the muscle fibers. And that's kind of what happens when you sprain your ankle. You actually make microscopic tears in the ligaments and tendons around your ankle, and then a lot of blood and other fluids flow to that ankle area, and it swells up like a melon, okay? So basically, when we're doing resistance training, we're just doing a real tiny version of spraining our ankles, okay? Much, much smaller version. And we're doing it intentionally. And that's because when you damage your muscle fibers by straining really hard, your body is really smart. When it repairs those damaged muscle fibers, your body slightly overcompensates each time. And it repairs those muscle fibers a tiny bit bigger and a tiny bit stronger than they were before. Okay, and then of course, we repeat that cycle over and over hundreds of times, and that's how your muscles grow. Simple as that. The deal is, with beginners especially, it doesn't take much straining to really damage those muscle fibers. All right, your body is just not used to it. And so it just responds much more severely to those damaged muscle fibers, when you're just starting out. And that's why you get so sore. And you're not sore while you're lifting the muscle, it's delayed onset, typically the next day or 2 days later. As a matter of fact, most guys will tell you that the worst DOMS occurs in your legs. And that's true. It's because your legs are so big and so strong, you can really push a lot of heavy weight, even for beginners, relatively heavy weight. And man, you're creating a ton of damage to muscles, partly because your lower body is just naturally strong, and partly because that's the biggest muscle groups in your body. I mean, you're damaging way, way more muscle fibers than you would when you're just doing curls for your biceps. So a lot of guys will get so sore that they can barely walk for a day or two, okay? So what do you do? All right, I'm finally getting to the point of this whole video. What do you do to minimize the pain and increase or shorten the recovery time for the DOMS, okay? Let me tell you that there's a long list. If you Google this online, there'll be 7, 8, 10 things that you supposedly can do. I find that the majority of those things really just don't work very well. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my top 3 things that I think are easy to do to shorten the amount of time it takes to get over the soreness and to reduce the soreness just in and of itself. So the most effective thing that I think to reducing that soreness and speeding up the recovery is just moving. Actually using the muscle that's really sore. So let's say it's your legs. That's typically what gets the sorest. Just use your legs. Don't lift weights, okay? It needs to be super, super easy stuff. Just walking. I find the best thing for me is getting on a stationary bike and just pedaling. Don't have to pedal hard, don't have to pedal fast, not much resistance. All you're doing is just moving those muscles, and it increases the blood flow to the muscles that are, basically inflamed, because that's what's going on. You create inflammation when you damage those muscle fibers, and it helps kind of flush out, some of the toxins that have built up due to the damaged muscle fibers. And it really will help significantly. If it's your chest that's sore, all right, don't lift weights, just move, okay? You don't even have to really stretch so much. is just use your chest muscles, you know, just real lightly, and you can do it several times a day, but just try to get a little bit of blood flowing without really putting any extra stress. Same goes with basically any muscle group that's sore, and typically the ones that get sore are your legs, your chest, and occasionally your triceps. My biceps never get sore, no matter how hard I hit them. It's just wild. Same thing goes with my shoulders. They never get sore. My back doesn't get sore, and I can hit my back hard. So typically for me, it's mainly legs, second chest, and a distant third are my triceps. But I think everybody's gonna be a little bit different. All right, so the second one, guys, is really boring. It's water. You gotta stay hydrated. Your body just works better, just in general, when you got a lot of water in all the cells, not just the muscle cells, all right, you know, the fat cells, everything, your organ, the cells that make up your organs, everything. So force yourself to drink more water than you normally would. It will help not just with the pain, but also help with rebuilding the muscles themselves. And the third one is the easiest thing to do. You're gonna really like this one. Take some pills. No, take some anti-inflammatories. I do it all the time, you know, when I'm really, really sore. You know, you can take Aleve or ibuprofen or whatever, and you look, you don't need to take it for a week. I'm only talking like for a day, 2 days at the most. Those things really do work. Trust me, you will see, you know, near immediate relief, you know, by just taking some anti-inflammatory over-the-counter drugs. And now I want to give you a bonus feature, okay? And this is not a DOMS related issue. This doesn't come from doing resistance training, but a lot of you guys have got a sore lower back. I got a sore lower back. I used to think it was because I was really tight, okay? Because my glutes were tight or my hamstrings were tight. I tried stretching, I tried doing everything, and it just didn't get better. All right, so about 10 years ago, there was a guy at the gym, a trainer who had a master's in physiology, and he said he knew exactly how to fix my back problem. And I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, but sure enough, it worked. And I'm gonna show you what that is right now. So here is the bonus feature right here. All you guys that have just kind of a chronic sore lower back, you gotta give this a try. It's not fun, but it's likely gonna help a whole lot of you guys. This is a softball. You can do it with a baseball. Any kind of a hard ball. Tennis ball is too soft and squishy. Won't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the ball where I'm going to get on the floor. And I'm going to put the ball right here, okay, under me. And I'm going to put my weight on it. And it's going to hurt, all right? But to find where you want to put it is you find your hip bone here. This is the top of my hip bone right here. And you kind of go down until, boom, about right here, there's a big soft area. It's just a bunch of muscle and ligaments and tendons right there on your side. And if you roll too far forward, you know, it's kind of it's more bony. And if you go back here, you're just on your glute. So it's right here, okay? And this is where we want to put the pressure. And it's not going to be fun. But you do it, especially do it 2 or 3 days in a row, and then see how your back feels. You will be really surprised. Let me show you how to do it. All right, so I get down here, and it's pretty easy. Once you do it a few times, I can already tell that's the soft spot right there, okay? So I'm not using all my weight. This leg is holding my hips up here. I'm up like this. So the ball is right here. Ooh, right there. There's a soft spot, and it hurts, okay? I'm also resting a lot of my weight on my elbow here, okay, and this leg. So I'm gradually, you can't see this on camera, but I'm gradually taking some of the weight off of my leg and my elbow, and I'm letting it sink down into that ball, okay? And it hurts. I mean, it's no fun. And I would recommend you guys do this for about 45 seconds to a minute. Now, the first time you do it, it's gonna be horrible painful. You're gonna hate it, all right? Try to kind of relax. After about 30 seconds of this, the pain should get a little less severe, okay? Just kind of breathe and try to relax, okay? Of course, we're going to do it on the other side too, but you do this, and you can do it twice a day if you want. You do this for 3 days in a row. By the third day, it won't hurt nearly as much as it did the first day. And then pay attention to how your lower back feels. First thing in the morning when you get up, doesn't matter, all day long, see if it hasn't significantly reduced your lower back pain. All right, so there you go, guys. How to basically reduce the soreness from doing, really tough resistance training. And, all you guys have been lifting for years, you probably already know this, or you just don't get very sore anymore. I don't get very sore. If I push it really, really hard, I'll feel some soreness in my legs or my chest, but it's a good pain. It's not something that I need to worry about or take any anti-inflammatories. It makes me feel good, like I know I did a really good workout, and my body's going to respond by growing bigger and stronger. Simple as that. But guys, all really comes down to, at the end, you got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.